Hey girls, this is Chiara, aka Project Bib,
and Jason, aka Mr. Project Bib.
And we are both here to give you girls an update as to what's been going on the past couple of weeks. It has, no word of a lie, been a very challenging, crazy, emotional week for us, and I've been trying to do this update for about a couple of hours now. First, it was on my own, and I swear, after 30 takes of just trying to summarize everything that's been going on, I was so frustrated that I couldn't verbally express what was going on and giving you girls like a really good update that after like take 30, I ended up having a little bit of a breakdown, ended up calling Jason at work and said, please come home soon. I can't do this update video. I'm getting very overwhelmed just thinking about everything that's just happened or that has been going on. And can you come and help be part of this video with me and just keep me on track and help summarize what's been going on.
And I said sure. And I said really, I'm like, all you need to do is just need to say this or just say that, and it's really easy. Just bring people up to date. You don't really have to say a lot of the information. Just keep it really generic. And then as soon as the camera goes on, it's harder than it looks.
It is harder.
This is probably take number 15 for us. So now we're up to 45 takes.
Take number 15, and I know you girls can relate because I know I've seen some of your video girls, and you're like, oh my god, this is like take 12, and it's taken me all this time, so I know that we're not alone in the frustration of trying to just do an update video. So I guess let's just jump in because we do have quite a bit to update you girls on. First and foremost, we have decided to officially switch fertility clinics and start our whole next steps of our fertility journey, which is IVF, with a whole new fertility clinic and doctor. Now, this stems from my last video where I wanted to meet up with another doctor at another fertility clinic and just seek a second opinion as to their approach with our history.
And I think for us it was important because we were starting to go to the next step, which was IVF. And I think it was one of those things that we wanted to do before we started to go down that road of IVF with the one clinic. We just wanted to get that second opinion and make sure that we were comfortable either with the clinic we were currently with or with something else. And I think that we found that something else.
See? And that's why he's here, ladies, to help me spit it out and get the point.
We're a good team.
We are a good team. I think through, even though we're exhausted tonight, I think with infertility, you've got to be an amazing team player with your partner.
I agree.
To overcome this challenge. So anyways, we've decided to go forward with that fertility clinic that we met on November 19th.
And maybe we'll tell them a little bit about why we decided to go with this clinic in particular. We met with the doctor, and within an hour?
Yeah, the first consultation appointment is
maybe. It was like an hour or something, an hour and a half.
Yeah, it was about an hour, and within that hour, we were just quite amazed as to how much knowledge and expertise this doctor had to offer us.
I would say, yeah, because I think within that hour, he had drawn up a diagram, a sample protocol as to what Chiara would do as part of her IVF treatment, especially because she has endometriosis and stage 4 endometriosis. And then also throw in the fact that I have Marfan syndrome and we've got to do PGD, all of a sudden there's a lot more complications in the process for us. So within the hour, he had drawn up a plan, he had a protocol for us, and he was just really confident about his ability to get us pregnant.
Right, and I think that as a doctor, I think those are something that as a patient, you really want to look in and have a doctor that has confidence in your situation. And every couple situation is unique and different. And I think for us, he was able to grasp that. I did have stage 4 endo. Jason does suffer from a genetic disorder that is passed down quite significantly to an offspring. And he kind of took our unique situation and just created this specific and personalized plan for us. And I think that kind of sold me right there. One of the things that I was really quite amazed at was how he was able to inform me that if I were to go with this clinic, he would have a specific plan for me, given the fact that I have stage 4 endo, a very personalized treatment plan as to how someone with stage 4 endo would go forward with IVF treatments. And that was one of my questions was, given the fact I have endometriosis, is there anything different that you would do for me through the whole IVF process? And he nailed it. He knew exactly what to do and the certain medications and stuff like that. So I was quite amazed and quite happy to see that he could really personalize and just do all that and create this plan for us to move forward.
Which is really good. And I think the idea I think we went on a Monday. We went on a Monday and met with the new clinic with the idea that on the Wednesday or 2 days later, we had another meeting with our original clinic. And it was basically the same meeting, right? The first clinic was going to have a look, talk to us about IVF and tell us what they envisioned for us moving forward. And like Chiara said, he really nailed it on all levels for us. So then on the Wednesday, when we went to meet with our current clinic, or the clinic that we were with at the time, we had essentially the identical meeting, right? The same meeting.
Mm-hmm. The only difference with the referral clinic versus the current clinic that we go to is that the only difference was I was going to actually get the MRI and pelvic ultrasound results from the current clinic. So really, both appointments were to be like, okay, what are our next steps? We know that we have to do IVF, and how do we move forward? So it was a really great comparison to meet with, let's just say, Clinic B, so the referral clinic, on the Monday. After we met with that clinic, Jason and I, we had a chance to talk about it, give our thoughts and our opinions on the clinic. And we didn't make a decision at that point until we had met with our current clinic on the Wednesday. So.
Yep. So which is great because, like Chiara said, we were just said, you know what, let's go to our current clinic and let's just give them a chance, right? Let's see what it is that they have planned for us. So we went in there with an open mind, and we were just like, we're not going to decide until afterwards. Afterwards, we'll go out for dinner. We'll have a nice discussion. We'll be able to talk about the two of them and really make our decision from there.
Right.
So we went into like I said, with an open mind into the meeting, and it was just, it's just funny because out of anyone, they had more information about us. They'd been treating us. We did 3 IUIs with them. They had all the blood work. They'd done the DNA testing.
They had my MRI results, the sperm testing, the MRI results, the pelvic ultrasound, which I'll get to soon.
So if anyone was going to have a plan, at least
you
a
would
comprehensive
think it would be our current clinic. And it was almost like the doctor didn't have a chance to read our files where we were at, even though this doctor did know that our next course of action would be IVF. And it was disappointing because, like I said, this is a clinic that we've been at since February, and this doctor just did not have a plan for us. It was just like, okay, she gave me the results of my MRI and the pelvic ultrasound, and then it was just like, all right, well, you guys want to do IVF, and you guys want to do PGD, and, here's some stuff that you need to research on PGD, and then when you do that work, give me a call, and we'll regroup.
One thing about the PGD, too, remember, like when they were speaking about PGD, the one clinic, Clinic B, what did you call them?
Yeah,
the
Clinic
referral
B.
clinic. They were like, you know what, we'll get you set up. They knew exactly what to do. But our current clinic was just like, there was no concept of what it was we were supposed to do. They were telling us that the ball was in our court at this point.
And it was almost with clinic number A, it was almost as if the doctor wasn't really comfortable with our case of having to deal with a couple doing PGD. I feel like the doctor wasn't, this doctor didn't have enough couples or experience in couples with doing PGD, whereas in Clinic B, the referral clinic, the doctor was very confident, has had experience with couples doing PGD. And it was interesting that the doctor at the Clinic B was able to really explain the whole IVF process and how PGD kind of comes in during the whole IVF process. Now with PGD, we're actually going to do a separate video on another day just to discuss why we're going to be going forward with PGD at this stage in our fertility journey.
And maybe just also to add to that, what's involved in the process. Not only why we're going to go forward with it, but what you actually have to do. Because even at this point, we know very little about that entire process. It's kind of we're learning as we go as well. So it might be nice to share it with some of you.
Yeah, so we are, since the PGD is going to involve the whole Marfan syndrome and the passing down to the offspring, we thought it would be best that Jason join me in those vlogs, and we will be doing a PGD journey vlog as well as doing our IVF. So
plus, I'm liking being on this camera thing.
He is. He's liking being on this camera. So anyway, needless to say, it was very disappointing.
It was
to
a letdown.
It was quite disappointing to see a doctor that we have trusted since February to not even really have confidence in our unique situation. And she didn't even create a plan for us. Whereas here, there was another doctor who was very confident, very knowledgeable, given the fact, again, that I have stage 4 endo and that Jason suffers from Marfan syndrome, which would mean we would want to pair PGD with IVF. He knew exactly what to do, and he had a specific kind of plan for me, someone that suffers from stage 4 endo.
Whereas the other clinic, their plan actually was to reconvene early in the new year so that we could talk about a plan. And
for me to just, it took me a couple of months to get the MRI and to meet up with this doctor. I am on a time constraint right now. Our goal is to get me pregnant as soon as possible, just because of the severity of my endo and my low AMH levels, which I'll get to right now. So I think there's sorry to interrupt, but there's the two things that we were talking about. One is that they didn't have a plan for us, so that was a letdown, and that was obviously disappointing for us. But I think one of the things that was the most disappointing for Chiara to hear was the results of her MRI, right? Right. So, so I got the results of my MRI, and I do have to tell you girls that there is definitely a good part to finding the result out. The cyst that was on my right ovary, which I'll get to that later on, that cyst is not cancerous. So I am very, very thankful and happy to hear that it's not cancerous. Thank goodness. However, there was some other news that were given to me based on my MRI results. So it appears that in the whole pelvic region, so basically where all my reproductive organs are, there is a significant amount of endo that is, lurking in that area. So that means since my laparoscopic surgery in August 2011, the endo has, striked back and is invading the reproductive organs. So meaning there is a significant amount of endo that is back. That for me, like I said, I am very grateful and very blessed that I don't have a cyst on my ovary that's cancerous. At the same time, to hear that my endo is back, to hear that there's a significant amount in that whole pelvis region really, really disappoints me. It makes me very confused as to why my body is just, I guess, declining in that way. Like I said, girls, it's only been 2 years that I found out I've had endo. So to hear all this stuff is very hard for me because I'm still trying to deal with the fact that I have this serious illness. And I just sometimes can't grasp that, I'm so shocked some days to find out that this is what's going on in my body and this is going on in my reproductive organs. So just to hear that the endo is back and there's a significant amount just kind of left me feeling defeated. So the cyst that was apparently on my right ovary, that Clinic A said that the cyst was on the right ovary. Well, the MRI result showed that the cyst is actually on my left ovary. And instead of it being one large 5 centimeter cyst, there was actually 2 cysts on my left ovary that kind of fused together and stuck together. So they stuck together and it almost looked like they formed one big one. So that's another thing. Here I had Fertility Clinic number A telling me all along that there was a cyst on my right ovary and it was a large one. And then at the MRI, it's shown that really it was on my left ovary and that was 2 small ones fused together and it looks like it's one big one. So, so that's the cyst update. And then something that really, really startled me was a finding that was found on my left fallopian tube. So apparently my left fallopian tube is dilated and there is inflammation inside that tube, as well as, so meaning that there is more than likely endometrium inside, or I guess endometriosis inside that left tube. Now that leaves me, I guess, a bit speechless because I had an HSG test done in July and the tubes were clear. The dye went through them and I'm just shocked that the fellow doctor, because the Clinic A that we used to go to was a training facility as well, which I have no problems with. I respect that. But I'm surprised that during that HSG test, no one picked up that my left tube was dilated. And for someone that has endometriosis, that means there's inflammation, there's, endometriosis in that tube. And I'm just finding this out during the MRI. So yes, like I said, the cyst is not cancerous, but I was followed up with just this other...
I think the 2 pieces of information, right? That you still had this large cyst and the inflammation or the bulge in the actual tube itself. I think it really, really hit you pretty hard.
Yeah, and it did hit me hard, and it was just like, I think I'm starting every day I start to really tell myself how severe my endo is. Why is this disease eating my body? It's just a really horrible disease. And I mean, if, it's something that I have to deal with every day, not only the physical pain, but the whole emotional pain and me, just really visualizing the awful stuff, how endo is attacking my reproductive organs and how awful that is. So That was really hard to grasp, as well as they went over my AMH levels, and my AMH levels are a bit low for my age. My AMH levels are, I think, 8.4, and for someone who is the age of 31, they should be around the 20 range. To hear that my ovarian reserve is low doesn't make you feel the best. It definitely plays a part on your femalehood. And again, the reason why my AMH levels are low is because obviously my endo likes to attack my ovaries. And during my laparoscopic surgery, with the removal of those 2 large cysts, they had to laser off resting follicles that were underneath those large cysts, thus causing the loss of follicles, thus causing a low AMH levels. So that's what I heard on the Wednesday. Needless to say, I wasn't feeling the best, and I ended up, after hearing those results and after hearing my doctor say, you know what, here's the PGD flyer, contact the clinic yourself, and then we'll regroup in the new year. And I'm thinking, you know what? Like every time I have a period, my endo is going to strike and win again. I need to get this underway as soon as possible. So to hear that and to hear no plan, I don't even think we had to talk. We did talk, I think at that point we had pretty much both made a decision in our mind, even before we actually had the chance to talk to one another, that, hey, we were done with this clinic and it was time to move on. Yeah.
I think we should mention one thing. The one, I guess, good thing that you might want to mention is that both doctors made the same decision, or at least were of the same opinion, that Chiara should not undergo another surgery at this point.
Yes, that's a very good point. I know, girls, you have my back. I know, girls, that I was telling you that I was a bit concerned that the large cyst, which ended up being 2 cysts fused into one, that I would need to have laparoscopic surgery. And both doctors agreed and noted that they, at this point in at this point in this game, they would not touch me with another laparoscopic surgery. They basically, with IVF, they would work around any cysts that I have and go from there. Both doctors said that they would not have anyone touch me or go in there and laser off any more cysts, because let's face it, anytime you have laparoscopic surgery and you're lasering off cyst that's resting on the ovary, you're lasering follicles that you have. So I was so relieved to hear that, especially because I heard it first from the first doctor. I started laughing, and he's like, he was like, "Why is she laughing?" I was like, "I'm just so." I was laughing because I was like,
it was like a nervous laugh.
It was a nervous laugh, but it was like a
funny.
nervous, happy laugh that I wouldn't have to have laparoscopic surgery. So that was great. Both doctors agreed that at this point in the game, their goal was to get me pregnant. But I think Dr. B, so the referral clinic, had a more not forceful, but just a more direct approach as to how we can get pregnant with our unique situation as soon as possible. I think that's the goal, is given the fact that I have endo and my age and my low ovarian reserve, the goal is to get me pregnant as soon as possible and have, worry about any laparoscopic surgeries after we've had our family.
Yep. And I think that for us, later on, we actually did go for dinner that night, and we talked about it, and we both agreed that, we were done with the one clinic, and we were definitely going forward with the new clinic.
Right. So that's the big update. Switch clinics. I've let you girls know about my MRI results, and I guess right now where we stand is we've officially made the transition to this new fertility clinic. I did visit the fertility clinic on cycle day 2 of my period, which was this past Tuesday. And I had a really great experience. The technicians were wonderful. One thing that's really great about this clinic is that you have a very close relationship with your doctor. So you're basically seeing your doctor at every cycle monitoring appointment that you have. So that's really great.
It is a great service. It's a great feature to have, because the last time we would go months sometimes without ever seeing our doctor. It would only be, I think the only time we saw her was before we started the first IUI
and at the end,
and after the third failed IUI.
Right. So. And also at this clinic, you just felt like a number there. At this new fertility clinic, there's just a really great, compassionate approach to these couples who are struggling with infertility. So that is the update there.
So I guess, one other thing. Things that we've been doing since we've been at the new clinic, we've kind of done a lot of the same stuff we did at the old clinic. We're just repeating it. We've both done a blood work. We've done the semen analysis. And then coming this week, Chiara is scheduled to do the sonohistogram as well as the HSG test again.
Right.
They want to do them at their facility, even though we might have had them done before. They really want to just double check everything. And also we're starting to engage the actual PGD clinic, which Chiara said will give you more information as we find out more about what the next steps are with the PGD process. The one thing we will say about the PGD from our initial talks with them is that it's important that they create a probe, and essentially what the probe does is allows them to identify the genetic disease as part of the testing of the embryo. So for myself, because I do have Marfans, they need to build their own custom probe, and that is looking like it's probably going to take 14 weeks. So that's just kind of a time frame of when we're looking at doing IVF.
Right.
It's probably not till maybe end of March of next year.
At this point, it's going to be a bit of a break because of them having to create the probe. Now, in the meantime, this doctor would like for me to hop on birth control pills to calm down the significant amount of endo that is in my pelvis region. So this Sunday, I will be starting birth control pills, and because I have stage 4 endo, he wants me to be on the pill a little bit longer than what they would usually give a woman who is about to embark on IVF treatment. So I have, ironically, never been on the pill. I think I was when we first started dating, and I had an awful reaction to it, which probably makes sense because I probably had the wrong amount or just not the right dosage of the pill, given that I had endo. And 31 years old, and I'm going to hop on the pill, but I'm hoping that it's going to just decrease the pain and just calm down that endo, so when we are finally ready to start the IVF process, the endo would be at least calmed down and stuff. So that's where we're at. I'm starting the birth control this Sunday to tone down the endometriosis in the pelvis region and to kind of, I guess, get it ready for IVF. But IVF does have to coincide for when this probe is ready, which will be in about 14 weeks. So in the meantime, stay tuned, girls, because we will be doing another video letting you girls know our journey as to how we got to make the decision of going forward with PGD. So I guess that's kind of where we are at fertility-wise. Work-wise, I'm not sure if you girls remembered, but I was telling you girls that my employer had to unfortunately end my contract at the end of December due to no money in the budget to make my position a full-time gig. Well, last week my boss comes up to me and decided to cut my contract short. And last Friday was my last day at my job. Yeah. There was a huge kerfuffle, and I'm not going to go into it. It's just not worth my energy. But, yeah, last Friday, that was my last day at my job. And, but needless to say, I've been very proactive, and I have another gig starting up this Monday. It's a 3-month contract that my temp agency was able to place me in. At the same time, I also have some other interviews of jobs that I've actually applied for on my own.
Fingers crossed.
On my own, not with a temp agency. So I've got an phone interview next week. So I've been very proactive in that department, as having a job is very, very vital and important to pay for the fertility treatments that we're going to be having in the new year. So I was very upset with my job. The way they handled it and the way they just cut my contract short, promising me, something at the end of the year. And then, regardless, I wasn't in a very good place last week. And so yeah, so that's where I stand with my job. And also, I just wanted to let all you girls out there know that with this whole fertility journey, I've actually had to kind of take, I kind of had to reevaluate my whole job situation and me trying to balance my career and dealing with endometriosis, as well as a lot of other dysfunctional stuff that's been going on in our lives, just with some, lack of family support and stuff. So I've had to kind of reinvent my priorities in terms of what kind of jobs I do. So, I had a really great career in the entertainment industry, and that career came with a lot of long hours, no stability, and it's very hard to continue with a job like that when you are diagnosed with a very severe and painful disease such as endometriosis, and then trying to deal with the fact that endometriosis causes infertility, and then trying to deal with the fact of dysfunctional family upbringing. So, I basically, girls, took a job that was definitely not step lower, but just a job that was
a little more
less junior,
stressful for you. Yeah, more junior, a little less responsibility,
and less stressful for me to deal with everything that's going on. And then to hear that they just decided to cut my contract a month early and before the holidays, I just found it very disrespectful, and there was no etiquette involved. So as you can tell, I am a bit heated when talking about that, but it is what it is, and I'm ready to move forward, and I'm
hopefully
ready.
This will be a good week for you.
Hopefully this will be a good week.
We'll get some maybe good news with the other interview, and at least you're starting something on Monday.
Yeah. And, obviously, having a job, both of us having a job is very important and vital to pay for these fertility treatments. So that's that. I guess in the positive side, I was able to have this whole week off, but it was quite busy with interviews and just getting everything together and organizing and cleaning the condo and meltdowns and just crazy. I guess then that leads me to an update with Jason.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
So, with everything that's been going on with my, contract ending a month earlier, switching fertility clinics, finding out that the endo is back on in my body and my left tube is dilated and there were 2 cysts and they formed into one and all this other crap. We found out on the 27th of November that Jason has a polyp inside his gallbladder. It measures at 1.0 centimeters. It is blood-filled, and he needs to get that polyp removed as soon as possible, because anything that is blood-filled and over the size of 1 centimeters could very likely be cancerous if it grew bigger. So, awesome.
I don't know what to say about that. It's not funny, obviously it's not funny, but like Chiara and I have to laugh sometimes because the best part is they told me that the way first of all, if they do the surgery, which they want to do, they actually remove the entire gallbladder, but they do it via laparoscopic surgery.
Yeah.
So I have a blood-filled polyp, aka a cyst, inside my gallbladder, which needs to be removed via laparoscopic surgery. Pretty much the same thing that Chiara had done before.
Yeah, and also, so yes, the gallbladder will have to be removed as soon as possible, but here's the catch. Given the state that Jason's heart is in, and I'm not sure if you girls remember, but in my earlier vlogs, I mentioned to you girls that due to Jason having Marfan syndrome, his aortic valve is dilated to a point where it is in risk of an aneurysm, so medium to high risk of aneurysm. His valve has been dilated to 4.7, which
anywhere between 4.7 and 5, because every time we go, it's hard for them to get an exact reading, but really the idea is anything at 5, between 5 and a little bit over. Especially when you have Marfan syndrome, like Chiara said, you are at a higher risk for an aneurysm, so they will operate. And the idea is to fix the valve so you don't have an aneurysm. Because if you do have an aneurysm and you're not at a hospital within minutes, you're at very high risk that you will not survive, that you will pass away.
Right, so given the state of Jason's heart, and this is due to him having Marfan syndrome. If you guys want a recap of his journey, you can look at my earlier episodes entitled My Marfan's Man, where I talk about Jason being diagnosed with Marfan syndrome and his heart. So given the fact that we're monitoring the heart every 6 months and that Jason is scheduled to go for open heart surgery next summer, the gallbladder surgeon doesn't feel comfortable at this time to operate on Jason given the state that his heart is in. So basically we were told that after Jason has open heart surgery, 6 months after open heart surgery, he's got to go in for his laparoscopic surgery and remove his gallbladder. So, yeah.
Add it to the list.
I think we left and we started laughing. I probably peed my pants because it's just like either I laugh or I cry or I go to the nearest alley in the streets of Toronto and try to find some heroin needles and inject ourselves with it. So I think that's our update, guys. Lots of tears. My eyes are swollen from crying every day.
We look really tired, too.
We look very tired tonight. And we've also had some really unfortunate events. I had a falling out with a friend who was quite insensitive with my infertility journey. And we've also been dealing with insensitive family members throughout this whole very challenging time in our life. So it is a really tough time for us, but we are strong. We will somehow get through this. I know Jason tells me every day that I will get through this when I'm hearing this stuff about how endo is just attacking my body. And so yes. That's really it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. please stay tuned. We will be doing a video to let you guys know how we came to the decision to pair PGD with IVF, and how Marfan syndrome, how Jason having Marfan syndrome has affected our family planning. So stay tuned for that, and thank you so much for listening. I want to thank my new subscribers, my old subscribers, and my subscribers that came in the middle. I love you girls so much, and I respect each and one of you, and I really appreciate you guys taking the time to, I think this is probably running at about an hour of your day.
Is there a secret word?
The secret word will be Rambo. If you watch this whole video, oh my goodness. Yeah, that's what we're going to be watching tonight.
Oh.
Kill me now.
Actually.
So if you guys watch this very long video as the updates of our crazy, messed up life, please say the secret word Rambo.
3-parter.
Yeah, 3-part. You guys know how much I love my 3-parters or parter videos. So
why don't you tell them why we're watching Rambo, hon?
We are watching Rambo because we are trying to declutter our condo and we're trying to get rid of stuff and see if we could sell stuff in terms of trying to save up for our Project Bib Fund, so IVF. And when Jason was in his early 20s, he decided to waste a whole bunch of money on VHSs. So silly movies like Bruce Lee, Enter the Dragon.
This one might be
Rapid Fire.
Brandon Lee.
I don't know who's gonna buy these VHS tapes, but hey, if we get
Superman. This one's for Lisa.
If we get
shout out
this
Lisa.
One's for you, girl. If we get 10 cents per VHS tape,
we don't get any money
then
anymore.
We will put it towards our bib fund. And who still has Pee-wee's Playhouse?
Classics.
So in our whole journey of trying to conceive our first baby, we are also trying to declutter and try to sell as much of unwanted stuff as we can. These are classics.
I might keep these now that I see them again.
Thank you guys for watching, and we really appreciate it. All right, thanks so much. If you guys have any questions or comments, and also if there is anyone that's watching this video who has undergone IVF with PGD, please email me, please private message me, or write a comment below just letting me know and your experience, and I really appreciate that. I'm back to work on Monday, so
it's exciting.
That's really it. And I think what we're going to do going forward is we're going to start updating you guys on our whole PGD process as we get that underway. So there you go. Stay tuned, and thank you so much for watching, guys. Bye.
Baby dust. You almost forgot.
Sticky dust.
Love dust.
Support dust. And, to all those girls out there, much respect for you guys. We are warriors, we are strong, and we will somehow get through this even when times are really dark. And I will admit, I've been crying, I think since my last update, almost every day as to how crazy the last couple of weeks have been. Not only with me dealing with my endo and the horrible pains that come along with it, but dealing with the fact that my love of my life now has to not only have open heart surgery at the age of 36 next summer. Sorry, I just revealed your age. But he's now going to have his gallbladder removed because the polyp could potentially become cancerous as bigger. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we hope that you all have a wonderful weekend. And again, if there's anyone out there that's done PGD, please write a comment, and I'd love to hear from you guys. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.